Hey guys, my name's Justin, I'm living in Hillsborough. Work here about the design behind Designer Luxury, and I got something to say! And if you do too, make sure to subscribe. I got something to say! Oh my god. If you've never seen Strangers with Candy, watch it. Amy Sedaris, brilliant. She plays this like really, a veteran lady of the night who goes back to high school to finish her degree, but she joins it with the high school kids. Great. Classic. Alright, so for today's video, I wanted to talk about how to not be basic in the same way that Jerry Blank would not be basic. No, absolutely not. She would carry, I don't know, a plastic bag full of like hot dogs or something, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I think these are like my favorite videos to do, and I just kind of felt like doing it because I was like, I have a short list of things that I think are interesting that I want to talk about. So let's talk about it. So if you are familiar with my channel, you know I have a growing passion for Simone Rocha. I have the Crocs.
What are those?
They are my Crocs.
I have not much else, but I've been looking at one of the bags, one of the nylon bags for a while. And I'm pretty sure I've talked about Simone Rocha multiple times on this channel. But there's a new bag. I can't tell if I love it or I hate it, and I need your opinion. And it is called the Creature Clutch bag. So this bad boy is a clutch. It comes in two colors, this like tan camel color and then black. When I first saw it, I was like, Creature? And I immediately thought of like Tom Brown and how he does all of these like very like elegant animals, like elegant with a sense of humor. Animals in like backpacks and bags. It's very funny, they feel very finished. And this feels almost like the antithesis of that, right? Like it feels very silly. I got something to say! In the way that it's just, it's almost like it's an animal, nondescript animal that a child drew that they were like, I see the vision. And then they made it out of like this like Sherpa-ish material and then made it into a clutch. I love it in terms of like how it looks, but functionally as a bag, I'm like, I don't understand it. And then I get that it has like a zipper and whatever to like put your stuff in it, and it has a wristlet so that it's easier to carry, but I'm just like, it's so ridiculous. I need an opinion on this because I don't know how to feel. Next up, we're gonna keep it this kind of level, this very like designer, still very like not quite heritage, but still part of the luxury sphere, I guess we could say. But this bag is by Chopova Lowena. Every time I say the brand's name, or if it's a person's name, I don't know, I should probably actually do research. I am always like, I don't think I'm saying it right. You know, like the multi-pochette and like the re-edition from Strada and all these bags, even like I think it's called the Super Busy from Balenciaga. All these bags with different like utility features, like different pouches and pockets and whatever. This one blows them out of the water, the Sophia bag. It's a shoulder bag, but then it has this really like intense hardware. But what really sets it apart is that there's different like, what looks like harnesses to hold a seahorse comb, a different carabiner that's been like, it almost looks like it's been like woven in a little bit, connecting to another carabiner. And then there's even like a little like buckled in notebook and pen. It says it comes with a pen. I don't know if it like actually does, but like I love when brands make like little like non-fashiony items because they're always so interesting. Either they're really garbage or they're really interesting, and I have a feeling this would be interesting. But then that harness I mentioned is, they call it a card holder, which I think is hilarious. You put your like, yeah, business card, if you're brave enough, I guess, put your ID there, which I think is like so insane, but so genius. And of course it's like big enough, unlike a lot of these other bags, to actually carry like a tablet or even a small laptop. You can like put a bunch of stuff. Like I think it would actually make a really charming like overnight bag or something like that, right? In general, the bag shape is fine, but really it's the details that really sets this bag apart. And this one I am certain of that I love it, and I really like it, and I think it's cute. I know those first two things were the same. Okay, so for this next one, we're gonna actually bump it up to a heritage brand. We're gonna talk about Gucci, and we're gonna talk about the Dionysus large shoulder bag. So you must be thinking, Justin, the Dionysus, that came out in like 2012 or whatever, I don't know. Like it's so played out, it's so old. But the way that they did this, I think, is very interesting, and it reminds me of something I'll tell you about in a second. So what we're looking at is this gigantic blown up version of a Dionysus bag, where it almost becomes like a messenger bag, or like almost like a weekender or something, you know? It's like, it's maybe not that big, but like it's big. It's almost comically big, especially if you were to put it next to one of like the super mini ones. They've also decided to do it in like this crinkled patent leather. It makes it feel so off kilter. It feels so weird, because I also don't recall in recent history when it was Alessandro Michele's Gucci where they used leather in that way. Correct me if I'm wrong. What I really like about this bag is that it reminds me of, do you remember, and I'm going to have to like look it up, but that Chanel runway where it was about being in an airport? That's when like there was a lot of luggage, but then also the classic flap they did in this giant size with this like really colorful print, but then they also did in like gold, more like neutral colors. But it reminds me of that moment specifically. Obviously the Chanel maxi flap, I think is what it's called, which is so funny, is the icon, the standard for me personally, but I do think this is a fun take on that, especially because they just made the chain longer. I think it's just so funny. I don't know, there's something funny about carrying a bag that looks like it's a little too big. It reminds me of like when like we were all younger and we would like try on our parents' like shoes or clothes and be like, oh, I'm a grown-up. But now it's like, oh, I am a grown-up, and I did buy this for however many thousands of dollars. Alright, for the next bag, I thought I would slow it back down again, and I would bring it to another brand that I feel like I've talked about a bit. I did have that one video recently talking about the collab with Baguette, but it's Collina Strada. And it's, I have to read this, soft pink mist medium bag. Never mind, that wasn't that hard. Like, obviously you see that there's like this ballet dancer kind of influence, but I think what's nice about it is that in this like renaissance of like tiny, super tiny mini bags, we've started seeing like larger bags coming back, but then this one almost feels like a little silly because it is huge, but then like I don't think the actual pocket inside is that large. They don't really show the inside of it, which also is like, that's a little bit of a flaw when it comes to taking pictures of a product for your website, but whatever. You know what it reminds me of a little bit? Do you know the Balenciaga Haute Couture collection that just happened like recently? And like the final bag was like a bunch of like tulle that was just like wrapped around the model, and the model was like holding it. It feels like that, but this feels like, I don't know, maybe more worth it? Because this bag's only like 500 bucks or something like that. It still has that feeling of like, oh yeah, just a bunch of gathered fabric put together, and it's in this really nice, I wouldn't call it like a ballet slipper pink because it doesn't have that kind of peachiness. It's like a very like cool pink. I don't know, there's something to it where like, if you just want a silly bag and you love the color pink, why not go for this? Who doesn't love like voluminous like sheer fabric? I don't know, there's something to it. So, we've come to our last bag. And this bag, I want to talk about because I actually am obsessed with it. And I want to relate it to a previous collaboration. It's the Buckle Baguette by Hodakova. I pray that I'm saying it correctly. First of all, Hodakova, it seems like there's this kind of ethos from the company of like, we have the saying like reduce, reuse, recycle, heavy on the reuse. Kate Blanchett recently wore a dress with spoons all along the front that made it look like scales. Rosé from Blackpink wore it during a press conference thingy. I think even Greta Lee wore one of the outfits from them for like a magazine or something like that. Like, they are in the collective, and like if I missed the boat somehow and they're actually like extremely popular already, far be it from me. But looks like it's just like a bunch of belts that have been like woven together and then made into a bag. Part of me is like, okay, like can't I just do that? But then the other half is like, absolutely not. I really don't think I could. Especially because it has a lining and an inner pocket. It has those kinds of finishing touches that like, amateur, not gonna happen, you know? But I do have to say the hilarious thing is like in the product photo, you can see, so there's all the buckles to let you know like, hey, yeah, this is belts. One of the buckles is 100% an American Eagle belt buckle. And I think there's just something so charming, so funny. I have to assume, yeah, and they say it, all the buckles are going to be different each time. I think either way, it's a win because it's so interesting. The only thing that's keeping me from like being a little bit more drawn is that it is a shoulder bag, and I don't really wear shoulder bags. But I did want to bring it back. Yeah, I know I mentioned a collaboration. Where I first heard about them was a collaboration that Gucci had with them. I think it was in the Gucci vault. They used to feature up-and-coming designers, archival pieces, things like that. Hodakova was one of the brands that they featured, and I think it was even a collaboration where they used Gucci belts to make bags. And that is the one that I'm like, I would have loved to have that bag. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of this one. That would have been a little bit more of like a firm, like, yes, like I really like that bag, even if I'm like a little on shoulder bags, but I would have made it work. That being said, I just think that this lineup of bags is so interesting. None of these bags I think are that far out. I think they're very wearable. Even like the creature one, even the like ballerina tutu one. Still, if you're looking for like a statement bag, I think you could make any of these statement bags. Even the Dionysus, even though it's kind of a basic bag, but the size of it, I think is what makes the statement. Let me know what you guys think. I love hearing from you guys. If you have any of these bags, let me know. Or if I turned you on to a bag, let me know, because I love hearing from you guys. But that is all I have. It looks like I'm like reading from a script. It's not, I'm looking at the ground. I don't know, but that is all I have for you guys today. So if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. It lets me know that you like this kind of content and that you too care about the design behind designer luxury. I think I did that last time, so you know. But like Hodakova said, reuse. I got something to say. I got something to say.